Hello guys and welcome to the vlog. Today this is going to be a 3-part vlog. The first part will be documenting my adventures going to the significant monuments of Rizal in Cebu City. The second will be an interview with the person that I regard as my 21st century Rizal. And lastly, a podcast about the opinions of my 21st century Rizal. So let's get to it. So of course, as in any vlog, I had to show you how I got to the library/museum. So me and my mom, we hopped into our car and we drove all the way from Talamban to Fuente, where the library is. So whilst in the car, I was thinking really hard about what was I going to think about and what was I going to talk about in this vlog about Rizal. Do I talk about his life? Do I talk about his adventures, his girlfriends, there was so much to talk about since I have learned so much about Rizal. I was still pondering my thoughts as I walked going to the library, but immediately when I saw the statue of Rizal reading books to children, I was immediately reminded that Jose Rizal really cared about the future of our country, and he knew wisely, very wisely, that the children were our future. And so they even had a Rizaliana section in the library. I could have taken a classical book, No Limitang Hero, or El Filibusterismo, or any other book, but this is the book I chose, Rizaliana for Children. Reading this book really brought me back to my past because it had illustrations made by Rizal about the tortoise and the monkey. I know this story by heart and I really love this story ever since I was a kid. So it was really cool to be brought back to my past and to have this connection with Rizal. The book also contained illustrations that were drawn by Rizal for some of his friends who were getting married. The trend back then was to have a notebook filled with drawings and notes from your friends that you can keep for your entire married life. These are some illustrations that Jose Rizal drew for other Filipino folktales. It really fascinates me to see the Philippines' greatest writer illustrate for some of our deepest and oldest stories. Despite not being a child anymore, it was really nice to read this book and to see the illustrations and to see just how talented Jose Rizal was. So the next place we went was the museum, which was really convenient because it was just up the stairs. So there was many beautiful paintings in this museum, but the ones that struck me the most were the paintings of the Katipuneros, because as we know, Jose Rizal was a big influence on the KKK. These paintings really showed just how revolutionary and inspiring Jose Rizal's ideas were, that Filipinos were willing to sacrifice their lives in order for them to come about. Now on my way to show you who I think is my modern day Rizal. Let's go. These are some of the topics that we covered in this interview. I'd like to ask everyone to help me compare and contrast my Rizal with the actual Jose Rizal. I'd like to ask my participant if he fully consents to having this interview.
I consent.
Great. So first, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Lord Denzel Palomar of BSN 1J.
So, Lord, could we get some basic information about you? How old are you? Where do you live? And where were you born?
I'm 19 and I was born and raised here in the great land of Cebu.
So, Lord, where do you go to school? And why did you take up nursing?
Well, I go to school to CDU, Cebu Doctors University, a really prestigious school, you know. They love me so much. Why I take up nursing? Cause the money.
So give me some background about your family. You know, how many are you as siblings? Like, what are your parents' jobs?
Okay, so my father, I don't really know. He might be a drug dealer, I mean. And then my mother is a sales consultant. So and then within my family, we're 6. I'm the eldest, and I have 3 younger siblings.
Would you consider your family hacienderos?
Yes, I would consider my family maybe like on my father's side hacienderos. Whilst my mother, maybe not so much.
What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I love to swim and cook.
Do you got that riz?
Of course I do.
You got that riz. Do you have any connection with politics or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. My father's side, And there are a bunch of politicians. My uncle right now is a congressman. And his campaign is the one, the Ako Bisaya party list.
Ako Bisaya here in Cebu City or here in
Yeah.
Cebu. Rizal was a very great hero, so I would like to ask for your opinion, since you're my Rizal of the 21st century. I'd like to ask your opinion about some of these crucial questions that we have about Rizal. So, starting with,
Okay. Okay.
how do the narratives of Rizal's time intersect with and diverge from the narratives of other colonized regions, and what lessons can be drawn from these comparisons?
Well, during Rizal's time, where the there's a superpower against one person or against a group of people, we can easily compare that to, like, for example, China and versus the Philippines, or the Philippines against Western imperialism, right?
Mm.
The only part where we diverge from that narrative is that we have free speech compared to what they had before, because
Mm.
they were
Mm.
just killed immediately.
Yeah, you're right, Okay, so going on to the next question. How do contemporary artists, writers, and thinkers draw inspiration from Rizal's works and ideas, and how does this compare to the influence of other historical sources?
Well, many people, many artists and writers using Rizal, Rizal as their base, get their ideas of wanting for freedom,
Mm.
wanting for wanting a place for their people and for their country to stand like hand in hand with other countries, instead of serving a country and through slavery in another.
How can studying Rizal's life and works foster a deeper understanding of historical injustices and inspire positive change?
Well, it like reading about Rizal's life is like reading a book, a biography. Like, for example, Oppenheimer. It's there to inspire. It's there to show the difference they had during the day and what we're experiencing now. We can draw upon the conclusion that through what they have been suffering, through what they experience, is that we can now combine it to what we're living, and then we can compare, basically making our news, making a story about their story. You get it?
Applying their story, their lessons to our lives so that we can have a better story. That's very wise. How do Rizal's ideals and writings continue to influence Philippine culture, identity, and arts today? Because we know that Jose Rizal was one of the first people to really write about Filipino life and about how Filipinos are a people, and that how we can have a culture. And we know that Jose Rizal is very artistic, with many of his drawings and influence reaching far and wide into many museums. So how have you seen Rizal's ideas and writings continue to influence Philippine culture?
Well, we are basically living in his influence, right? Because without him, right, I believe that we'd still be under the influence of the Spanish. I believe that we'll have our, Spanish master still towering over us, and his influence today is within our lives right now. That's why we don't like actually see it per se. It's like God.
So we've forgotten about it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's just that we're living it rather than talking about it. So, do you think that we should really bring it from our actions to also our words, so that we can really show appreciation, really dissect these ideas? Do you think?
Yes, I think that.
Okay. Well, this has been a great interview, Lord. So, thank you. Despite being from a different century and from a different part of the Philippines, I believe that Lord embodies the spirit of Rizal because he has always been a loyal friend, a vocal linguist, and most importantly, he has Filipino pride and he loves the Philippines with all of his heart. And like Rizal, he's got Riz. Thank you for watching.